Alright there, hello everyone, it's I, Soul17 here. Let me first, like usual, I do not own this picture, non-paid video. So, I've been going over some stuff. If you guys been wondering why no video came out for 2 days or a day, it's because I was going over some stuff, and, well, here's the thing. I'm trying to figure out, or should I say work on some thumbnails. And they are coming out this Saturday. Alright? So, I wanted to let everyone know that. And, yeah, so you're all gonna see what it is, and it is 3 new Deku what ifs. One of them is another one that is a cheated one, but I am doing it totally different. The reason why is because I know I have one with Hiei, and that one's really good, but I'm doing it in like a college setting. If you guys can guess where that's gonna go, yes. So if you guys are wondering if the Hiei cheated on is gonna be still going, yes, it is. So do not worry, that is still gonna be made. I'm still gonna finish it. And like you all know, I will go up to the overhaul arc. You know, that I'll be, well, not, you guys don't know, the way I'm gonna go with all my what ifs is the overhaul arc. So around that not sports festival, around that, celebration fair that they have. So yeah. But anyways, let's just get into this. Just want to let you all know that. So this is what Deku got alchemy, or can use alchemy, part 3. So, as well, we're doing a little bit of backtracking. When they get into the USJ, Izuku Midori, Deku, or Zuko basically is looking around, admiring everything. And he's wondering, I wonder how much, material I can use just to have everything just come at somebody if I need to. Yeah, so Izuku basically is thinking about ways to use alchemy to his advantage in certain things. So yeah, also if you guys are wondering, I'm at my friend's house, so that's why you hear a ceiling fan running and that weird sound. So yeah. Also, everyone did like to have, like the whole entire idea of May being the ship. So yes, the ship is May. So yep. But anyways, the whole entire thing though is the girl that he was talking to was May in the last part. I just don't want to reveal it. And the number is also May, so he got her number. He's wondering if May would, like to talk about some stuff sometime. Even about, some support items that he can probably use with his alchemy. So, as all of a sudden, he was spacing out, so all of a sudden he hears Kirishima goes like, wow, fake villains? I didn't know UA was, had this much money to do this. As an Aizawa and, 13 look and see, Aizawa gets an immediate fighting stance and saying those aren't, fake. As everyone's shocked, Izuku right away claps his hands together, hits him down on the ground, and immediately not a cannon, but immediately how can I say this right? He's bringing out his hand. He's bringing it upwards as it's creating a staff made out of the ground. As everyone's seeing this, as basically he grabs it and just starts twirling it around in his hand. And he goes, alright then, bring it on. So, everyone's wondering, what the freak? Baku's just thinking, you gotta be kidding me. Aizawa just says, nah, you guys are not fighting this. So he jumps down. Zuko, he's just watching all the villains and everything. And well, Kirigiri does come over. 13 is about to do something. Izuku gets right in the middle of them, and he already clapped his hands with the staff in his mouth. Sends it, basically a wall of earth to hit him. When it goes right through him, he laughs about it, but then something else hits him right in that brace he has that sends him flying. Which, well, he did not think. So, Izuku kind of grunts at this, and everyone, including Baku, is just wondering what the. So, they don't understand how Izuku can do this so quickly. Ida and everyone was trying to open up the door. Izuku just walks over, gives the rock staff to Uraraka. He just claps his hands and basically opens a hole through the metal. He tells Ida to go. As Ida does. He's running as fast as he can just to get back to UA. So, while that's happening, Izuku looks back, goes back to the staff, and get his staff from Uraraka while saying thank you. And he sees Aizawa being, really hurt a little bit, but not too much. No. So, basically, there's too many guys, so Deku just somehow, in some way, he basically runs, uses the rock staff to propel himself forward. And right when a hero was gonna hit Aizawa, gets kicked in the face with Izuku's boot right into him, send him flying a little bit, and then Izuku right away hits another villain to the side, and just claps his hand when he threw the staff up in the air to basically make the earth itself hit multiple villains at once. Which Aizawa says, "Problem child, you're not supposed to be here, but you're supposed to be up there." As he goes, as when he basically catches the staff, he goes, "All due respect, sir, you can't handle all this by yourself. Not because of your quirk. There's just too many. So let's just, end this quickly as possible." As he sighs and goes, "Fine." So they start wailing on villains. Izuku basically, Edward knew, worked on Izuku, but, since Izuku could work on making multiple weapons if he ever wanted to, with basically the earth and the metal around him, he decided to train him in this stuff, in which he thought it would come in handy, which it did. The thing is, though, he researched it, and he never knew about these techniques or anything, so it was like, I'm gonna teach this kid some stuff. So yeah. So that's why he's so good with this. So anyways, so after a couple minutes of this going, the whole entire, Shigaraki and the Nomu out happens. Alright. So when that, does happen and everything, Shigaraki does not know who to choose, but he sees Izuku is way more of a threat. Well, Deku is way more of a threat to him than Aizawa, so he tells the Nomu to go after him. The Nomu rushes forward at blinding speeds, and Izuku, heard the footsteps. He looks and he sees the Nomu right in front of him. So what happens is he basically makes the staff hit the Nomu. It breaks, but then he claps his hand in the air and just slams his hand on the ground, but move them forward. Well, just move one forward, and basically spikes go right into the Nomu, in which Izuku thought, okay, this was supposed to not, kill him. He's supposed to jump out of the way and such, but the Nomu does get out of it. It was only aimed towards his body, so the Nomu basically rips his body off of it, and then it just starts healing. Izuku's thinking, "You gotta be kidding me." As I always goes like, "What?" So, well, Izuku's trying to dodge using alchemy to propel himself. Heck, he's actually able to somewhat now. Because of the training, he never wanted to say this, but we're telling one, he doesn't really have to clap his hands to use alchemy. He can use it on his feet, at least, and move around quicker on objects. So with the ground itself, he claps his hands, his feet alone, he can just move him, like pull him somewhere else. As the Nomu is having a hard time hitting him, Shigaraki's getting annoyed, but still the Nomu is getting faster and faster. Deku's trying his hardest to keep everything at bay. Heck, he actually takes out one of the metal rods after clapping his hand. Well, he kind of just threw it up in the air, clapped his hands, immediately then grabbed it, pulled it to, stretched it out, and made it into like a weapon that could cut, and then starts hacking and slashing at the Nomu's hands, or like fists, whatever he can. But somewhere around the lines, the Nomu regenerates way too quickly. Izuku, well, villain that was knocked out gets up, shoots Izuku in the back without him knowing. Aizawa saying, thinking, no, 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 no. He tries to rush over there, but Shigaraki, comes out of nowhere. Aizawa tries to throw the scarf. Same thing happens with him then. Some villains are waking up. So, yeah. So then basically what happens is the Nomu grabs Izuku's right arm. And, well, with its immense strength, he basically slams Izuku into the ground once, then twice, then throws him, but with his right arm coming off completely. Izuku from adrenaline does not notice this. When the Nomu's rushing at him, he can see. He tries to clap his hands, but he can't see his other. He can't see. His arm isn't there. All of a sudden, he doesn't feel it. He's like wondering, what the? Why is it? Where's my? He looks at his, where his arm was supposed to be, and it's gone. He's just wondering. He's just thinking, when did no, no, no. So, he's trying to get up. The Nomu basically got him, grabbed his face, threw him back to where the arm, when he dropped the arm. And then, well, Shigaraki told the Nomu to rip off his leg, to leave it as like a present for All Might to see that he messed up. He should have been here. So the Nomu, does jump towards Izuku, and, well, rips off his. Well, let me check something. Alright, and, well, what happens next is when the Nomu, about to grab one of his legs, Shigaraki says, "Get the left one." And so the Nomu basically rips it off. Izuku's screaming out of pain. People are hearing this. Aizawa is just thinking, just horrified. Like, basically, he doesn't know. He basically is losing focus. Some heroes are not heroes. Some villains are trying to get the jump on him for this, but quickly he composes himself. But he is mad. He does not care about if these villains die or not no more. He's gonna go for blood now. So Izuku basically is screaming out in pain. And, well, God is watching him, seeing him scream out in pain, but can somehow hear Izuku's thoughts. And they can see that Izuku, with his left arm and right leg, is just trying to get up through the pain, just trying to fight, basically, still. So he contacts Edward and tells him to get the arm and leg and get over to, well, actually, I'll just do it. He goes, so basically he's watching, he goes, "Oh no, I knew this kid was gonna need this arm and leg." So basically he snaps his fingers. So then Edward comes into the area. He goes, "Wait, why am I, God? Why am I here?" He goes, "Edward, get the arm, get the leg, rush over to, UA, right now. Something bad happened to Izuku." And he goes, "What?" And then he basically shows him as he's saying it's exactly the same way, like he had it, but it was ripped off. So he nods, but here's the thing though. He tells him Izuku's gonna become something more than human now. He goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Remember the father? Just wait, no. Are you gonna make him into a homunculus? As he nods. But he's saying, but he'll have full control over himself, and he'll gain two of those specific, specific sins or people you knew them by. One of them you killed, the other one died saving the world. As his eyes widen, as he goes, all right. So basically, he exits out of that void, white void. Goes Edward, as Inko and him were talking. Edward immediately runs over to his room, grabs his suitcase with the robotic arm and leg, and basically runs out. Inko asks what's wrong, and Edward just says Izuku isn't hurt badly. He lost his arm and leg. She asks, how do you know? He goes, the person who sent me here. Basically, that's all he needed to say. And immediately, she calls up Mitsuki. Mitsuki was like asking what's wrong. She told him what happened. And all of a sudden, like, Mitsuki just gets in the car right away. Just heard Izuku's, hurt badly. And he lost his arm and leg. She just hung up and got in the car, get over to, like, their place. And picked them up and just drove. They just drove all the way there. So yeah. So while this is happening, though, while that was happening, Izuku is getting up, trying to get up through the pain, saying, I can't, I can't die here yet, nor can I let these people die. I have to get up and fight, even if I just have one arm and leg, basically. And for some weird reason, red electricity is coming off of Izuku, which the Nomu is going towards Aizawa, and Aizawa is trying to fight off the Nomu. Heck, he's actually using the blade that he had on his back and trying to kill the Nomu for hurting his student. And since it can regenerate, he knows it's not human, so he's not holding back anything now. He's basically just gonna go and try to go for blood. And Shigaraki's shot by Aizawa's basically pure intention to kill. But Nettie notices Izuku's seeing the red electricity going around him. It's very shocking. And for some reason, the red electricity pulls the arm and leg closer to Izuku. It looks like it's about to attach to him. Only enough to basically for this to work. As soon as it does, a red light appears off of Izuku, blinding everyone. Basically, as Izuku sees God, he goes, well, kid, I helped you out a little bit there, but your arm and leg will be permanently gone after this little event happens. But there is a way for you to get them back, at least. He was, how? As he just smiles, he goes, well, simple. As basically he holds up a stone, a pure red blood stone in his hand. And he says, this is a philosopher. I'm going to say the name wrong, so I'm sorry. Philosopher's stone. This will grant you two things. They're like called sin. Sins, basically. Sin of greed and sin of pride. You'll become a homunculus. A 2-in-1, though. Because, well, you're greedy enough to still fight, even when you're, bleeding to death. And you're prideful to never give up, at least. So, kid, I was gonna give you this anyways, but I thought, since you're in danger, now is gonna be the perfect time. So, as payment for this, it would have been costing 1,000 of human souls and suffering, but I think that's what, this is me saying this, but I think that's what it is. If I remember correctly, it costs like 1,000 people's deaths or so. But in this one, Izuku's suffering was enough to be be a little bit of the payment, but he also has to give him his, what's happening. You all know what's happening. So yeah, so Izuku basically says, but my suffering, oh, you suffered way too much, kid. I've seen it, and that was, so one soul having all this suffering, gonna mean, I mean, you were actually way over the amount of, people's blood or souls were gonna cost, but since your arm and leg is gone, Edward's coming over here with something for you. Plus, as he says, this pride sin will give you temporary arms and legs, but allow you to have special powers. More, well, deadlier than quirks and your alchemy. It works with it, but you'll have a lot more, well, options for you, kid. So, do we have a deal? Your arm and your leg, though, is the price this will cost. As Zuko nods, and so he all of a sudden Zuko's legs and arm were attached to himself, and then they're just disappearing with, that appearing on God's body. That is looks like a Zuko. Basically how Edward was. His arm and leg were for was on him. So yeah, basically what happened next is simple. Then Zuko gets the Philosopher's Stone implanted into him. Basically, red energy is appearing around the Zuko as it's basically going into his body. As it's changing him from the inside out. I mean, from the inside. As like Izuku's body started to become denser and like greed would have had. It would have his skin would have turned like metal. But then all of a sudden it turns back to normal as he's like panting after it's all done. He goes, "What now?" He said, he goes, "Now you fight and win this." Good luck, kid. He just snaps his finger. As the light show ends, Izuku's there standing up, but for some reason, he has a the arm that was ripped off is replaced by something black, and it looks like smoke is coming off of it, along with his leg. Everything around the blood is gone too. His arms and leg is missing, and for some reason there's a swirl happening around him, and with multiple eyes and teeth being shown, as Shigaraki's saying, "What? How? How is this possible?" And he says, "Nomu, kill him already." He didn't die. He's scratching. As the Nomu runs over at Zuko, he grins. And then all of a sudden, he just lifts up his hand as the Nomu itself gets impaled by multiple spikes that came from the shadow as soon as it steps on it. And he doesn't stop there. He runs towards it, claps in his hands as red electricity comes off of him. And he basically pierces, the smoke hand and his regular hand change into like a blade as he stabs the Nomu through, the chest and both both shoulders. As then all he says, "Now, disintegrate." As basically he just starts changing the Nomu, killing it. As Elba was beaten, hurt bad, but not too bad. He did save, Asui, or I mean Sue, and Mineta. So yeah. Wait, I think I said Mineta's not there. Okay, no. He saved Sue. If Mineta's not there, okay, well, great. Anyways, so then he decides. So basically, after all that happens, Nomu's being screaming out in pain. The regeneration's not working. All Might comes in and sees this as it just turns into dust. He looks at all the villains as the freaking lights from the USJs making it all grow, the shadow grow, as then all of a sudden, every one of the villains, besides Shigaraki and Kirigiri because they got out of there, are then wrapped up in the shadow itself as they're being held down. As he's just walking, as they're, some of them are being dragged, he walks over to Aizawa and asks him if he's alright. He nods. So I'm gonna say with alchemy, he could at least heal himself a little bit, Aizawa. But nah, I don't really think he could. So yeah, oh my god, that's a baby because my friend's sister had a kid. So yeah. But anyways, so after All Might comes and Aizawa helps get all the villains, plus other heroes come afterwards. All this happens. Everyone asks what happened to Izuku. He's just still. He's basically staying awake after adrenaline and the pain he still feels. But that's it. The blood stopped flowing out of him. He's perfectly fine because of the shadows, the pride's in, plus him having like a little bit of a healing factors kicking in. He, how when the sins of alchemy, just basically pride and that are sins have, they have a really half-assed regeneration. Izuku won't be able to get his arm back because, well, this. So yeah, Nezu's there with not with Inko and Edward and Mitsuki. The paramedics are there too. And well, what happens is they see Zuko's jacket ripped, arm gone, leg gone. Edward just having a flashback to himself right there and then. He looks up at them, he says, hey, with his good arm, waving. Edward just tells the paramedics that use these will fix it. And don't even ask questions, just do it. Ingo agrees. So yeah, so the paramedics take, because there's like blueprints on how it's going to be done and everything, instructions for the doctors to do. So yeah, so basically they take Izuku to the paramedics. Cops are, arresting all the villains. People wonder if Izuku's going to be okay. They don't know what happened. Nezu asks questions. And Edward explains it everything. He tells him about even how that arm and leg for now is going to hinder his height growth. For now, at least. Because somewhere along the lines, I am giving back his arm and leg. Don't you worry. So yeah. So he just says for now he's gonna not have them. They wanted explanations, including Aizawa. He says how all of a sudden the red electricity was coming off of him, and then this happens. He talks about the whole entire shadow growing, and then him, his arms changing. Well, it looks like his fingernails change into metal and such, and it pierces the Nomu and disintegrates it. He goes, greed. Greed has that ability. And also, alchemy can do that anyways. That wasn't human, so I guess. As it did look like it. As he goes, huh? So he basically tells him about God, alchemy, where it was from, really, who he is, what happened to him. So yeah, the reason why he's here. All Might is shot, Nezu is shot, Aizawa is shot, but he's way more worried about Midoriya along with Nezu. All Might's just, well, he doesn't know what to think. So, yeah. So basically what happens is, when everyone does get to the hospital, and, well, and with the instructions and everything happening, they basically have Izuku's arm, basically being replaced by the robotic leg and, arm. And so, it became a lot more easier when people arrive. They're still doing it, putting everything together for him and such, attaching everything where he needed to go. And so, after it's all done, they came out of the surgery. Inko was there. She asked, how is he? They said it was a successful operation. Everything's fine. because of these instructions, it was perfectly fine. There was no problems, no hindrances. I thought something bad was gonna happen, but nothing. Kid was lucky to have someone, as he looks at Edward, to have these on hand. Did you invent them? He goes, no, I used to have them myself. An old friend, my wife at the time, made them for me before we were together. As he asks, then how did you? He goes, let's just say I found something that healed me. So yeah, everything does. Yuzuku was in the hospital for at least 2 days. Aizawa was in the hospital too, and people were really worried. May did not know what happened to Zuko until people got to that class. She went over finally to see him during the second day, and well, she asked him, not asked him, she asked anyone there, as they told her he was in the hospital, and May immediately rushed out of the school. Did not care if it was school hours, school day. She went past Aizawa. Well, Aizawa heard her saying, "What? Why did no one tell me?" And she ran out to school. And well, he contacted Nezu saying a girl with pink hair, weird glasses on, and is running out of the school. She heard about Zuku. She knows her. She knows him. I mean, and Nezu just asks, "Hmm, hmm, what does she look like?" He then says she looked like she was in the support course. So she looks it up. He sends the picture of May to him as he says, "Yeah, that's her." He goes, "All right then, go. I'll send a car to pick her up and take her there. Personally, I'll be there." So yes, so Nezu rushes over to a car. While May is running over to the bus to a train station, Nezu picks her up and drives her all the way over there. Nezuko's still sleeping. Well, sleeping there is brought over. Nezu brought over and explained everything that happened, and not everything about himself or. Well, he just tells her that Zuko is going to be through a tough time, that, well, if those parts break on him, we will have to replace them. So we're going to need the support course to help out. Because, well, Edward does, give them a list of parts that was in, made, being used and made for the metal arm and such and everything. Even the light too, so it's they have to specifically make custom made parts for these. And this ain't this is not cheap metal, but it's because of Izuku's daring attempts to save people and losing an arm in the process on UA property, the government, they have no problems with paying for this. So yeah. So anyway, sorry, you're gonna hear my friend's mom and dad or family just doing whatever because of the baby. Yeah, so sorry. So anyways, when May gets there, she asks where Zuko Midoriya is. Inko has not left, nor did Edward. So when she rushes in, she basically sees them both, and she sees Zuko with the metal arm attached to him, and just, well, she slowly walks over, trying to hold back tears, as she looks at it, and you're just looking at the arm the part of the arm that's being shown, and she does not help but cry a little bit. Izuku waking up to this, you're like, hey, I don't need no one crying when I'm about to wake up. So he's getting up very slowly, which Inko and Edward are not surprised, but May's telling him, no, stay down, you need a rest. He goes, I'm fine. As basically, shadows appear all around the room, as it's, from his own, as, basically a piece of the shadow comes down where Zuko just pulls himself up a little, position himself. He does feel the metal on his arm and even on his leg. I mean, where his leg should be. So he starts moving it a little. He's basically thinking this is, well, this is gonna be weird for him. Edward just tells him how it's gonna work, explains it. Parts that won't be in the cold. The parts that are in there now Basically, they will not freeze or anything, but you still gotta be careful. It'll lock up sometimes if there's like dust in it, too much debris. You have to do daily maintenance on it. He does say sorry for him. Izuku just chuckles and goes like, "It was my own stupid mistake. I should have realized there was a villain that woke up, or at least I should have been more careful. I was just trying to dodge and not focus on my surroundings." And Izuku is moving it, but then all of a sudden he puts, he's red electricity runs through the metal arm, as all of a sudden it gets even more like, it looks way more metallic and denser. And then he's like moving it around, and he's like, "So, this is what I am now. I'm different." May's holding his right hand, and she's just saying, "I'll make sure I always help you out when fixing this, no matter what she says to him." In which he kind of looks at her and chuckles. And basically, with his live hand, he pats her on the head, which her face goes a little bit red. And as he was there, he smiles, and then he goes, "Ahem," which Izuku sees. He goes, "Principal Nezu, hey." And Nezu, comes over, and he does ask if he can jump onto the bed and talk to him. He goes, "No problem." So Nezu does, and he goes, "Izuku Midoriya, for your bravery, for, what you did, I thank you, but as a principal, you losing two of your body parts, and basically giving it to God to get more power, I do not know what to say. I am quite horrified, sad, and happy that you're still able to walk around and move, and become a great hero. But the fact is that you're able to get them back makes me extremely happy. So, for right now, the government of Japan is talking about it because I had to explain them what happened to you and about your power. For they'll say they'll get in contact with me sometimes, well, in 2 days, and I've been waiting it all day for. As then basically a call comes on Nezu's phone. He answers it, and then he goes, "Yes, all right, I'll tell him. Thank you." He hangs up. He goes, "Well, it was approved." He goes, "Huh?" He goes, "Well, Izuku Midoriya, until you get your arm and leg back, for now, the government of Japan will help you out in any way possible. Also, these are support items. You, I would say, but at the same time, they're a part for you to actually, use. So we cannot, help it. They're supposed to be a part of you for everyday uses. So, if anyone complains about it, we just say support items that are permanently needed. And though the government of Japan would like to compensate for what happened, so your hospital bill is being paid, along with you gain a full scholarship to UA, so that way the parts that need to be fixed or repaired will be, fixed and repaired, along with any support items you else need will be fully paid. Also, Mr. Aizawa is very worried about you. He saw what happened, and he has not slept for 2 days straight, or eaten. Reasons why, I do not know. But for his past, all I know is he might have thought you may die, really. But he heard you were okay, but still. So please, go back to UA. Take the next day or so off, because there is a sports festival, and just visit Aizawa, please." And then he looks at Mei Hatsume, and he goes, "And Mei, you are his personal, well, inventor for support items, plus his, well, mechanic." As she nods, and saying that you are going to also, well, the dorm system will be made. I want it, but I'm making it where there's going to be a dorm system where you and your master plus your mother are going to be on UA property, along with May being there nearby. So that way she can always repair your, arm and leg whenever she can. Which May's happy about this. Izuku kind of chuckles. He goes, alright, Nezu. Principal Nezu. Why all this? Because I do not want no one like you at your age to ever go through something like this, and I failed. As a principal, this is the worst thing I could have done. So, I decided to do this. And try to make everything for you a lot more easier, Izuku Midoriya. Good day. As he leaves, May asks if she can hug him because she doesn't know much will have to, if the metal's like deep inside of him and such, like it's certain part of him's gone. She doesn't know, and he just says, "Yeah, you can. I already know everything about this because my teacher told me most of it. But he said when I get it on and everything, if I ever have it, basically attached to me, he'll explain more about it." So, she hugs him, and well, Inko takes out her phone, takes a picture. Edward kind of grins at this. He goes, young love. As they both look at his mom and Edward, and they let go, they say, and they're flustered, stuttering, as, well, yeah. So Inko says, well, I'll tell the doctors you're awake and everything. And before she even leaves, the doctor comes in and he goes, Nezu told me you're awake. Alright, let's get everything just tested out real quick and see. So, yeah, that's what he does. And, well, Izuku goes, after getting checked out, he's perfectly fine. Well, perfectly fine then, in the condition that he's in. He, is discharged. They, Inko packed some clothing for him. But he said he doesn't mind wearing the same clothing he had on during the USJ. Which Edward is saying, yeah, no, kid, we're going to, get you, you're wearing these new clothes, put them on. And he was fine, so yeah. So he puts them on, even some new, but the boots still were new to scab, and so he basically had his jacket always be fixed. So he gives him the jacket and such. The boots they had their pair, so they basically gave them back to Izuku. He's wearing sweatpants and boots and the jacket with a blue shirt. So yeah. So they just Mitsuki was called. Bakugo heard about it. He rushed over with Mitsuki in the car all the way over to the hospital. And he goes, Deku! Basically. I'm not shouting because the baby that's at my friend's house. So yeah. And well, he rushes over. He see how he is and the arm and such. And he goes, it's perfectly fine. It's gonna get some time to get used to, but hey. And then basically he uses the red electricity to go over the arm after lifting on his sleeve that it does form a blade. He goes, see? And then it just disappears. He goes, I don't even have to clap my hands no more. Like he uses any part of my body too. He smiles at this and Baku just goes like, nerd, why you always find something positive in every bad situation? He goes, it's just normal for me. So yeah, so after that, they go to U1A. They go to 1A. They go to UA in class 1A. Azelle was just standing there, just trying to. He'd been processing everything for 2 days. How he could have fixed it. So yeah. And then he hears a knock and he sees Izuku. He rushed over. He hugs Izuku. He just like looks at the arm and asks him if everything's alright, everything's okay, blah blah blah. Izuku just like calms him down, tells him he needs to sleep and eat. I'll be back in school when the day of the sports festival, alright? He nods and then he goes, I'm gonna be living on UA too. So I'll see you around, Teach. He sees him around, Sensei. And all of a sudden Aizawa just goes in sleeping bag mode and sleeps automatically. He just smiles and, well, he leaves. So yeah, for the next 2 weeks, what things happen is Izuku and Edward focus more on his body, keeping it like in shape, along with his alchemy. Plus, keep trying to work on the power he gained, greeds and pride's abilities. He's working on it, along with now like keep trying to. If May isn't around, he has to try to repair his arm itself, which Edward finds that Izuku can do it. They did move onto UA campus. Everyone at the school who attends there, because everyone was going besides Class 1A, sees Izuku moving into UA with May being a part of like the house, basically living situation and such, in which Monoma doesn't understand it. So until one day they see Izuku with just a regular mustard shirt on, and they see the arm. Class 1B saw the arm. They were like whatever, like shocked about this, and then they see like he not having like any sneak like anything on. He's just on the grass, and they see like a metal leg, a metal foot basically, and they're shocked by that too. So they heard the rumor about some kid lost his arm and leg, and they see it now is Izuku. Everyone's just they don't know what to think no more. So yeah. But anyways, during that 2 weeks though, he improved a lot along with everyone else. Bakugo especially, because that caused him some trauma. That did cause him some trauma seeing the childhood, well, childhood friend that he had and then betrayed and bullied, and basically that now had power all this time, never told him because of that reason. Then all of a sudden he gets his arm and leg ripped off, gaining even more power, and now he has a robotic leg and arm. So yeah, he's not the same Bakugo anymore. He's he's focused more on protecting Izuku if absolute necessary. So yes. So anyways, when everyone arrives back, everyone got even stronger because of this happening to Izuku. And yeah, so Izuku can tell along Faizawa. He said, "Good job, you guys. You all got stronger. So now get out there, show your stuff." No one's there to say anything to Izuku or to anyone in Class 1A. May did tell them about this. The support course asked her what why you have like special permission to work on this arm and leg that you know that some kids heard their teacher talk about, and she just says it's because of my friend Izuku needs it, and two, it is him for his everyday use to live. So back off, guys, and that's all she says. And then the teacher kind of just tells them what happened, and well, that's where the rumors started. So yeah. So after all that, they get over to the sports festival. Izuku's supposed to go up and give a speech, and well, he does. The speech goes like this. He just says, "Hello everyone, I am Izuku Midoriya, and well, you probably heard the rumors about me, well, or should I say the USJ. They're true. A kid did lose his arm and leg. That's me. I'm not gonna hide it because, well, you can clearly see it. But because of that, I gain more power than I, well, ever imagined. Most of my body will heal now from any attacks, besides, well, my arm and leg. That's, like a simple stab wound, I will heal from it very easily. Internal damage, heal from it. I have more power than most people now. I could probably defeat All Might," as he says, joking. He does then say about how people here have their own unique way of fighting and getting stronger. People in Class 1A was affected by me getting hurt, so they got even stronger. But everyone here can get hurt from villains that are in the hero course or anywhere. So we have to work hard to get stronger to protect those around us. For something like this, as he holds up his arm, never happens again. And that's all I gotta say. Plus Ultra. And then he just leaves. Everyone clapping, cheering. May runs over and hugs him, saying that was a good speech. Some of the girls in class 1A, well, most of the girls in class 1A likes it, saying, oh, that's cute. And then, like, some of the guys, thinking, what? No. But Baraka's going like, what? Wait, huh? What's happening? So yeah, so then the whole entire thing announced of well, the Oscar course. And that's where I'm going to leave it off. I do hope you guys have a nice day, night, wherever you are. Bye, everyone. So yeah.